Sorry, you're on the thing. All right, we're live. We're back, and we're with Brandon, the progenitor of this entire conference, the creator. How are you feeling about it?
I'm deliriously happy. Things have gone just way better than I ever anticipated.
Yeah. What's been like your favorite talk so far?
Oh gosh. So far my favorite talk is, it's sort of superficial, but it's not really. It has to do with the bullet stopping drones. If you guys have seen it online, one of the things that one could do with drones is wrap it in armor so that it takes a bullet. And then another thing you can do with a drone is to put cameras on it and stuff GPUs on it, and then start looking for people pointing guns at other people. And if the drone gets in between, then less people die. And then, but the question is, what do you do with all these GPUs that are not doing anything when they're not stopping bullets? And so the answer, naturally, is mine Monero. Yeah, so it's a pretty cool talk. Honestly, though, actually, is it okay if I take this? Okay, yeah. Honestly, though, every single talk has been fantastic, and we're going until the very end of the day today. And the very last couple of talks are also some of the best. And so it's just like a constant rolling flow of fantastic material.
Yeah, no, this has been kind of a dream come true, at least for me. Awesome. First Monero conference. I know you got a lot going on, so we won't make this interview too long, because you did a great talk yesterday yourself. I recommend anybody who's watching this to go listen to that. What I really liked about that is, as usual, you and the other kind of, I don't want to say leaders in the space, because there's no leaders in this decentralized community, but you really always continue to kind of set that tone of, hey guys, this is a project, open source project. It's a science project at the end of the day. We're not finished building things. We're not necessarily digital cash today. We're on our way. We're always trying to improve. And I like the analogy you gave. I guess you were talking about how Google says it's, in terms of search from a 0 to 10, it's a 1, and everybody else is basically like a 0.
Yeah.
So Monero being.
Yeah. So I think the original anecdote that I don't have any knowledge of the origin of this anecdote, and I mentioned at the beginning of my talk. If anybody can tell me where this story comes from, I would love it. But apparently back in the day, a Google engineer was asked how good Google's search engine is compared to like God's search engine. It's like, if 10 out of 10 is perfect, then Google's at like a 3. And so my talk began yesterday talking about how privacy coins today have a privacy of 1 out of 10, all of them. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, the totally transparent coins, they have a privacy of 0. So I think that there's a lot of tribalism in these various spaces, and everybody who wants to protect their own coin, they will try to forget about certain drawbacks of their coin while pumping the advantages. And then they'll do the opposite when they're describing other people's currencies. And I think in order for us to move forward with the best possible protocols, we have to be absolutely honest about what they're capable of.
Yeah, and I think you really set that tone as usual, and that's always the tone that I see in talking to others. And I just think that's really important to have in this ecosystem, because it really keeps everybody on their toes and just trying to constantly improve. Yeah, I don't know. We could go into more detail than that, but I think that's it. I would encourage everybody to watch your talk. Like I said, this conference has been completely amazing. Anything else you want to say about it? It being the first, do you think we'll be back here again next year, or
actually,
anything you would improve for the next go around?
So actually, I have no idea where we're going to hold the next conference. We're having a debate right now, because we might do it annually in Denver. We might do it annually in the mountain range region, like in the mountain time zone. So we might go down to Mexico City or something like that. We may just alternate back and forth. We don't know yet. One thing that is sure is that everybody wants this to happen again. It's been a wild success, way beyond my wildest dreams, and I'm hoping my stress-related heart palpitations start to chill out after the conference is done. But honestly, if we just keep going and doing the job that we're doing, I think that we're all going to win. One thing I do want to do is thank Monero Talk for kicking vast quantities of Tushy, and when it comes to interviewing people, getting their live streaming up, and everything. But in addition to that, I want to thank our sponsors. The biggest sponsor of the MoneroKon was the Monero community, and this involved donations from a variety of sources, most of whom were anonymous, some of whom publicly announced. Like, for example, the Zcash Foundation gave several $1,000s to help make the Monero Conferenzo happen. In addition to that, we have all of our sponsors, ranging from Simus Corporation to Globi to Tari. We have Morph Token. We have Flylife, I believe. Morph Token brought them on. We have Core Scientific. I'm going to miss somebody, and it's going to be really bad.
The Cake Wallet, right?
Yeah, we got Cake Wallet. We have My Monero, which are two really fantastic wallet softwares. We have My Nonprofit Magic, multidisciplinary academic grants and cryptocurrencies. We give scholarships and grants to researchers, and we build infrastructure in a variety of communities. We're still building the nonprofit. So right now the goal is to build things like libraries, computer labs, things like that. Since we have a board member in South Africa and we have a board member in Ireland, we're definitely going to be doing something out there. In addition to that, we have Cypher Market, which is honestly, I saved them for last and for a lot of reasons other than the fact that I didn't remember them at first. One of the reasons is that Cypher Market is run by one of the Monero community members. And if it wasn't for their support in the beginning, I don't believe that this would have necessarily gotten off the ground. So if there are any sponsors that I forgot, I apologize. I didn't bring a list for the interview. But next year, we hope to have just as fantastic of a conference.
And hopefully we'll do a Casa de Monero as well next year.
Oh, heck yes. Heck yes. That party was great. Those tacos were bomb. But I got to say, one thing that I think makes Monero Conferenzo special is the content, right? There's a really high signal to noise ratio here. I realized that one of my best friends came and I was starting to introduce him to folks. I realized that like everybody I was talking to, I was like, oh, this is one of the smartest people I know. He does blah, blah, blah. This is one of the smartest people I know. She does blah, blah, blah. And then I realized that everybody in the room is brilliant. And it's a really, really fantastic thing. And it reminds me of another phrase, another little story. My advisor used to say there's a difference between second and third rate mathematicians. Let's ignore the first rate mathematicians because none of us are first rate mathematicians, but between second and third, what's the main difference? And the difference is that third rate mathematicians hang out with fourth rate mathematicians and second rate mathematicians hang out with first rate mathematicians, right? And so when we want to have some really good research-based content, we got to get everybody together, from the absolute experts in the field to the grad students who are just getting out of school or just entering school. And next year, I hope we get a lot more abstracts, especially from people who want to be on stage with bigger names.
Yeah, and I think, Andrew Polstra is here. I mean, we're pulling guys from other projects as well. And I personally think that's one of the greatest assets any of these cryptocurrencies can have, is really the community behind it and the developers behind it, the research behind it. I mean, that's irreplaceable. That's, I think, the greatest asset that any one of these cryptocurrencies has.
Absolutely. And, the fact that you bring up Andrew Polstra actually brings up the uncomfortable point about Blockstream, right? Because everybody, there's conspiracy theories online about Blockstream, and we don't want, let me put it another way. We do not want somebody from one project to be coming to the Monero Conferenzo and then appearing as if they are shilling for some side project, like an altcoin or something. We refuse to have any sort of promotional presentations this time. And in the end, having Andrew come speak about Musig is important because we used Musig to construct our Thring signatures, which are important for threshold stuff like Lightning. And in the end, if you have a Microsoft research conference, you're going to have people from IBM and Hewlett Packard who come out and learn about what's going on. And so I think it's really healthy to dip into other projects. It's one of the reasons I was happy to work with the Zcash Foundation for dealing with the conference when it comes to organization and streaming and stuff like that. So when I see all of these people from a variety of universities and a variety of projects getting together and they're all just buzzing and they won't stop talking and ideas are flowing, it's exactly what we wanted.
That's awesome. Yeah, the hardest part for us here is doing these talks. I also want to go watch the talks. So we'll get back in there. We'll watch. Thanks again. I don't think it could have went any better.
Thank you so much, Doug.
Thank you.
If it couldn't have been better without you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, cool.